Greetings, everyone, and a warm welcome to Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from the sunny Sunshine Coast in Australia, joined today by Daisy McCarty. Daisy, g'day from down under. Where are you hanging out?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
And how's the weather this time of year? We got November 23 as we're recording this. What's happening weather-wise?
Still nice and warm, but we're starting to get the monsoon season, so plenty of rain.
Oh, send some our way. It's starting to dry out here. So, folks, in addition to living in Dallas, Daisy's a fractional chief marketing officer. Tell us what that is, Daisy, in case folks aren't unaware.
Fractional chief marketing officer is a marketing executive that you can hire for as many hours a week or as many hours a month as you need to. So you don't have to spend $200,000, $300,000 a year to get the expert advice that you need.
Right. And so you're kind of like the hired gun for marketing.
I am. Everybody wants a piece of me. That's what makes me cry.
All right. So Daisy works with brand messaging. She's a strategist. She's committed essentially to help businesses stop wasting time and money, because that is absolutely ubiquitous. It's universal, it's everywhere. You hire someone, you get advice, it doesn't work, and she's here to stop that, which leads us nicely into the title, which is how to build a marketing system that works for small business growth. So let's put aside the smoke, the mirror, the opaqueness around the marketing, and let's talk about real marketing gets you small business growth. Daisy, our 7 minutes is going to start now. Question number one, tell us who your ideal client is.
For our small business program here at Blender, it's a solopreneur, startup, or small business that's under $1 million in revenue. They've usually tried some marketing tactics without success, and they want to find something that actually works. Our best clients are not afraid to roll up their sleeves and learn. They just need the right guidance and the right system to build and grow.
Right. So they're committed, they're growth oriented, they just need to get themselves going in the right direction. So question two is the problem you solve. You probably already said that, but is there anything you want to add to that?
I really solve two problems. Number one is helping businesses get in front of more potential customers. And number two is helping them get more of those people to say yes to their offer.
Right. So it's the lead generation and the conversion, the
Absolutely.
marketing and the sales. So what would you say, question three is, what would you say are the symptoms of the people that need what you've got?
They're always struggling to hit revenue goals. Usually they're trying tactics kind of piecemeal and hoping that something is going to work. They're typically wasting money on marketing. They're not getting traction. And often they're overwhelmed with having too many options for tactics, but no way to make an informed decision about which ones are right for their particular business.
So it sounds like a frustrating experience for a lot of people that
It is.
when you start working with them. So they're doing a lot, but there's a lot of overwhelm. And even though they're doing a lot, which is admirable, nothing's really working. We're talking about solopreneurs and small business owners that are clearly the growth oriented. They're not passive individuals. They're going to try stuff. What would you say, question 4, 5.5 minutes left, what would you say are some of the common mistakes that people have made prior to finding your solution?
Actually, the most common mistakes are around the assumptions they're making around how marketing works. So half of them think marketing is a mystery and they just have to try things and hope something's going to work. And the other half think that there's one magic bullet that's going to fix everything. And neither of those things is true. So first of all, marketing is a solvable problem. It's not a mystery. There are best practices that consistently work. And on the other hand, it's complicated. There's not a one-size-fits-all solution. And another thing that I often see is they're not budgeting appropriately. So they pick a tactic and they do it till they run out of money. And then they just say, I guess marketing doesn't work for my business.
Right. Whereas the methodology they chose might have worked if they had tweaked a bit or perhaps persisted with it. Would that be right?
Sure. And sometimes it's not about a methodology. It's they haven't figured out where their buyers go, or they're just trying tactics for too short a time.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Question 5 is, let's give folks a top tip. You've probably described 90% of the folks listening to this podcast. So let's help them move forward. Perhaps not a complete solution, but what would you say they could do that might take them a step in the right direction?
I'd like to share a prioritization framework for this one. So number one, you have to be aiming at the right problem. So it's visibility or getting enough traffic to the site or getting people to take a next step. Maybe it's qualifying leads or closing them, but you have to figure out what problem you're really trying to solve. And then you can prioritize marketing based on effort and impact. So this determines where to spend what we call your ATM, which is your attention, time, and money. So there are 4 quadrants and they're based around impact and effort. So where you want to spend first is on low effort and high impact. And I call those quick wins. Those are usually closer to the bottom of the funnel, like increasing closing ratios that immediately improves revenue. Doing rapid lead generation, pay-per-click is usually great if you have the right search intent and the right offer. And then the second quadrant is where you want to spend the most. And that's high impact, high effort. And we call those game changers. And those are things like getting a marketing system in place to automatically generate leads, building a strong referral network, creating a lead gen ecosystem, or even things like getting on the speaking circuit. Quadrant number 3 is where you should spend consistently, and that's low effort, low impact, or really cumulative impact. So it's low and slow, but they're incremental gains. And those are always things like social media and organic SEO, where you have to do it over time, but it does have a payoff if you do it consistently. And then there's the final area where to stop spending, and that is high effort, low impact, and those are the money pits in marketing. And the number one thing that I see people spending money on that they should not is building a brand new website. I know that's shocking, but I would say probably 80% of the time that's not the actual problem that's holding them back from revenue growth. So they need to make some tweaks to the website, but don't, spend $20,000 on a brand new website if that's not the issue that's holding you back. And the other thing I see a lot of clients spending on is trade shows, where they may spend tens of thousands of dollars and the lead generation from that is really not worth it.
Wow. Well, that was an incredibly well articulated, succinct summary of all things marketing, folks.
Thank you.
There's a lot to unpack there. So we might be able to help you folks to unpack that with the answer to the next question, which is, where can people go to find out more about this?
I have a free webinar that gives business owners a look at how to identify and act on those quick wins and how to create a game-changing marketing system for their business. So it hits those first 2 quadrants really nicely. And that's at themarketingblender.com. It's /marketing-lab. That's LAB-23 web. And if you have trouble finding that by typing it in, just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Daisy McCarty. There aren't that many of me out there. So feel free to reach out and I'll send that link to you.
Fantastic. And folks, it's 23 minutes long, so you can do this over a cup of coffee. It's www.themarketingbblender.com/marketing-lab-23, the numbers 23 web. So you can go there. Looks like it's evergreen, so it'll be there when you receive this, when you start listening to that. So the last question, Daisy, we've got a minute left, plenty of time. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't? And the answer, please.
The number one question that people need to wrap their heads around is, how much should small businesses be spending on their marketing? And this is a scary question to ask, because most businesses that are starting up or they're smaller are not spending anywhere close to what they should. The benchmark is 7 to 8% of revenue just to stay even, just to stay where they are. And it's a 10% or more if they want to grow. Now, it varies based on, for example, if you're selling a software as a service product, you'd be looking at 13 to 14%. If it's professional services, it's much more on the lower end. But here's the good news. You don't have to start at 10% of your marketing. You want to begin with a strategy and then add in the handful of tactics at a time based on priorities and the problems you're trying to solve. And you want to ramp those up over time as things are working. It can be a scary number to think about 10% of revenue, but it costs less than you think to get started and make significant progress.
Perfect. You got 5 seconds left. Just enough time to thank you for your insights and your wisdom, and such a well thought out response. Thanks, Daisy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.